Dublin. You are grey brick upon brick, full of tarmac and hipster pricks, just face it. All other places pale in comparison, you are more than some former Saxon garrison. Dublin, your warmth came too late for John Kerry. Dublin, are you even sorry? Dublin, you were divided by more than the Liffey. You said yes to equality, it's about bloom and time. Yet Dublin, you always proclaim to cherish all. Dublin, your panties are on Capel Street, compromising any papal feats. Dublin, Jedward, awkward. Dublin, you are more than a settlement on the paddle, but Dublin, what's the crack with coddle? It's shite. Why don't you just admit it? Dublin, you brought back Sam again. Dublin, when did you go from the clash of the ash to exchanging gold for cash? Dublin, Dublin, Ablana, Balya Ahaklia, and 180 other tongues your citizens are using to name you, so Cade Mila falls you to all. Dublin, where the power is held by too few in the Dáil. Dublin, when will you revolt again? 1988 wasn't your true millennium, despite the 50p's in milk bottles. Dublin, you're mine, but I'm happy to share you. Dublin, from RTE, TCD, UCD, U2, SIP2, YFSC and acrimonious Temple Bar SCDs, ODs and OMGs, no longer the second city, yet you play second fiddle to Google and Guinness, to Facebook and unsociable twits. Dublin, look at yourself. Dublin, your tower blocks and tenements are an excuse for a solution. Dublin, come here till I tell you. You can be more than rapid dirt birds and Banjack's Bowsies, alright story, but yeah, sure, it's all good. Jesus, that's Scaldy and why go baldy? I'm excited and the lyre. Dublin, I cry for you. Dublin, you're a tough bastard, yet full of the softness of all the people on your streets. Margaret Dunn dancing on O'Connell Street, the Dice Man Tom McGinty miming on Grafton Street, Pat Inglesby with his poems on Westmoreland Street, and your Mollies, Malone, Ivers and Bloom, to Daly, Sally, Sandy Mounts, from the gospel of Kelly, Drew, McKenna and Sheehan, the Borstal boys like Brendan Bean, Tickle Lance rejoicing and Evelyn looking out to sea. Snow falling slowly on the dead in Glasnevin. Glenn and Marquetta once strolling to Christy Brown, willfully controlling a foot to paint pictures and poems to your heroines. Brenda Fricker, the city's mother, and Maureen O'Hara, an enchanting other. Dublin, you are boom and bust, running wild and swift. Dublin, can I trust you? Dublin, you're true blue as Harry Clark's cobalt. Dublin, from a thin Lizzie Dicey Riley to a floozy and jacuzzi God-fearing. Dublin, shooting down Veronica Guerin. Dublin, you are bang bang, 40 coats, Zosimus, a blind street poet. Dublin, you were all of us, and all who are yet to come. So let's go to the grave diggers and have a pint. Dublin, remember Stardust and all the waltzing lovers. Dublin, Big Jim's arms are outstretched to a risen people, yet are we under the thumb again? Dublin, your GPO columns are scarred from the crackle of gunshots. Dublin, your CCTV will never yield your essence like the shots of Arthur Field's Man on Bridge. Dublin, you are the pool bag towers and the poor showers begging on Bachelor's Walk. Dublin, you're all talk, yet you have my attention. From Robbie Keane to Paul Meehan, Dublin's calling, ooh, ah, Paul McGrath, while some say up the ra. Dublin, bridging gaps with Joyce and Beckett and finally Rosie Hackett. Dublin, Paddy Finnegan was forced to sell the big issue on your streets while Daffodil Mulligan was played the Bowron beats. Dublin, you say delish. Dublin, you're full of the Polish and Brazilians speaking Portuguese, and now the Chinese have turned Parnell Street into Chinatown. Dublin, don't let them down. Dublin, don't forget, no blacks, no dogs, no Irish. Dublin, perish the thought of you being racist. Dublin, Cuchulainn has fled the GPO and is heading for Monto. Dublin, your bay embraces despite the Sellafield Sea. Dublin, your mountains frame all your natural beauty. Dublin, a whaling banshee stricken with TB. Dublin, you're European, but you could be Craggy Island in disguise. Gabriel Conroy is heading west because of an epiphany. Just saying, Dublin, you only painted your post boxes green. Is the Abbey doing all you dreamed? Dublin, you're notorious for clampers, senators and seagulls, to the Celtic tiger and septic tanks, to singing high kings and rampaging Vikings. Dublin, come here. Take me for a Teddy's and a romantic stroll down the pier. Dublin, you're a dancing place, a sprawling space of villages and many faces on the edge of an island that's eroded by the Atlantic, battling with being romanticised. Dublin, are you dynamic, struggling with identity, changing for the better, changing for us? Dublin, don't be scared to change, don't be scared. We are with you always, my friend, my home, mentioned 50 times in this poem. We live in you, my city, Macree, I love you. Most of the time you see, Dublin, you are me.